Well, hello YouTube, hello Twitch. Thanks for coming on by and checking out my stream. And thanks for coming on by and checking out my VODs and, just hanging out and all that. Thank you. Alright, moving that stuff around. I usually take the beginning of every one of these videos to thank the people that are just coming on by, and watch my stuff. With that said, we are playing Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead, again. And I am Zarin Fi, or Zera, or simply Z. I am going to get off this freaking continent. Well, not continent. That'd be amazing if that was the case. Get out of this set of maps. Man, these are... I don't like driving around them anymore. I know it's not going to get much better. But... oh well. I think we're... yeah, we need to drive away from here anyways. Yeah, shadow snakes and all that jazz. Whoa, did I just... oh, I skidded from running into a snake? Interesting. Yeah. Okay. That thing... the thing must be pretty damn big. I don't exactly have 100% of my focus right now, so there is that. Alright. I'm gonna jump on that radio tower and see what's around. Mostly in the south. I might jump down there somehow. Am I summoning these things? Huh. Interesting. Ooh, attunement altar. Might be worth actually spending time here. What the? Okay, I need to check my inventory. Am I carrying something that's summoning these things? Could be that thing. Although it didn't summon elsewhere when I was carrying these things around. The Majingjaro? I'm just pretending I'm saying that correctly. Yeah, I got a bunch of spells I need to go through. I actually think I might be able to get to be a... oh, that... okay. See, that would make sense. Just gonna drop the Mantle of Shadows, go outside, and say hello. Yep. And that ought to do it. Alright. Let's play a little bit of music. Now, for some of you who've been watching for a little while or just recently watching, I repeat some of these actions for people to know why I'm doing some of these things. It's a little redundant, but, repetition does help with memorization. I do them because it helps me keep my characters focused. Somebody finds something better than what I'm doing, then replace what I'm doing with that instead. And turns out not much out here. Okay. Yeah, if we get a reality break here, that won't protect me. At least I wouldn't assume so. And the thing I did say I was going to do, yet I never did, I was going to test that this vehicle is safe versus the portal storms. Well, I guess we're not doing that. I don't want to leave this site right now, near the attunement altar. That's part of the Magicalism mod. So I'm going to continue researching new spells. So my character is decent temperature, probably because of the climate control. Alright, how's our temperature now? We'll do this here. Level 12, yeah, it's about expected. We go back to reading all that jazz. And I will take a sip of my tea. There's hoping that nothing bad happens while I'm sleeping. Alright. Extinguish. How's our morale? Doing pretty good. And I have wormskin armor on my character. And that's about the encumbrance that I was expecting. I equip that dagger since it's supposed to be not very good to carry on me anyways. And we're dead tired, so wear the blindfold. Okay, we'll just rest here. That seems to be a mildly wider window. And it's even better now. Perfect. Alright, we're normal weight, so therefore we can't burn the extra calories. So now we have to eat, make and eat food. So take off the blindfold. And turns out we left the headlights on. Whoops. Thankfully it didn't make too much of a difference. Alright. Let's take a moment to cook. Probably should take some of these off. Huh. Actually, yeah. I don't have the pattern scroll for clairvoyance. Can't see the crafts. There we go. I mean, I'm very hungry, so maybe I shouldn't be making a pattern. Let's do some... something that will get my skill up, which unfortunately is none of these, really. Can we even eat cookies? Huh. I'll make a batch of, oh wait, that's the... Yeah, that's the, won't spoil category. Jerky takes a while to make. Looks like fried meat. I'll make a nice batch of that from the chunks of meat nearby. We'll do the pork belly. Because that's, well, that's going to expire soon. I put it on the seat, so that means... There it is. And that was a shed load of calories. My character really enjoyed the fried meat. The fact that it's a hot meal, too, is a massive morale boost. Alright. I don't think I need to do anything with tea. So we're going to go back to crafting that pattern scroll. Perfect. And yeah, We now know clairvoyance, which, cool. So that means I should take that off the list. I don't know why I have this on the list. I think this is one of my early concepts for armor. That's something. Yeah. Taking it off. And I have a survivor's hood, I believe. Yeah, I do. It's burnt, though. Oh well. That's not bad. Don't like the encumbrance. Once again. Oh well. Alright, we'll clean it up later. So, we're going to go back to reading about Windstrike. This is going to take a little while, but it's what it is. Oh damn, we're big hungry, aren't we? Time to pop those. Okay. Go back to reading. Level 15, or we're at level 13 of 15. And considering we haven't seen any more of those shadows, it's because of the mantle of shadows, I'm pretty sure. Let's stop here. We can ignore the hunger, but we can't ignore the thirst. Well, I'm not going to anyways. Let's see, siphon, herbal tea, pour into a container. Okay, we ran out of herbal tea. How warm are we? Okay, that's weird. Go back to reading. But the shame is we have two distinctively offensive spells for the spells that we're going to level to 15. But the good news is we don't necessarily need to use them. We're only using one of them. One last level. Well, for this spell. We still have to do mega spells, unfortunately. Actually. Come to think of it. What's that spell called again? Windstrike? That's O. Holy crap. Huh. Well, that's a significant AoE. 55 damage, too? Okay. That's not bad. And it knocks everyone over? That's cool. So we learned that from last time, thanks to Mr. Zealous coming by and giving me a little knowledge bomb. This is cool. Alright. So every level that we get, a little bit more damage, even more range, even more AoE. Yeah, this is disgusting. Huh. It says 285 for the cost. Let's go find out what it is in a moment. Once we, we're done with this period of spellcasting. Or learning, anyways. Yeah, we're tired. Fine. Turn off music. And we're going to find out what this spell is all about. So, where's O? So it's supposed to be, what, 285 I said? Yeah, so that cost is... It's a measurable amount. Oh, it's bashing damage. Eh. Oh well. Jesus. Okay. Just like whoosh that everywhere. Be neighbors with that guy. And... any meat that's laying around? There's jerky. I probably should just pick up the jerky. Pick up some of that, and then we're gonna make some more meat. fried meat, probably. Because that's the healthiest batch. Damn Skippy. We'll take human meat. Some fried food. Indeed. Alright. That said, we turn off the fire. We'll note that we have a mild craving for lighting a fire. And I don't think there's anything else I need to do aside from wear a blindfold, just in case the morning sun just surprises us. There we go. So I'm pretty sure it was the mantle that we weren't even wearing it. We were carrying it around, and it was summoning those things. Now, if we were, well, about as prepared as we are now, that's actually a decent source of experience, sort of. Considering I'm already doing something that's taken a bit of stream's time, I don't plan on grinding like that. Oh, and I'm awake. Let's take out the blindfold. Never even read this thing. Frigate fly. Mutant housefly the size of a cow, creating a loud buzzing sound as it inexplicably stays airborne. Damn. Cool. Alright. Yeah. I'll have some jerk jerky. Okay. Go back to reading. Well, actually, let's see how well the spell does against Frigate. 55 damage. It's not too bad. Although the thing is, wait, that thing's still up? It's supposed to be knocked down, isn't it? Oh, it's not knocked down, it's slowed. Tell you what, the thing has a lot of health, though. Damn. Oh well. Huh. My punch didn't do any damage to it. Or it died. Yeah, it died beforehand, so I couldn't do any more damage to it. Alright. Yeah, I'm pretty insistent on getting these spells up. Ugh. Is that my next spell? Late. Crap. Oh well. Let's do this. The camp spy is just chilling. Oop. And, let's start a fire over here. There we go. Makes our character happy. Alright. Some of these mental quirks are sometimes annoying to deal with, such as eating with a table. As you see, nothing... I don't think there's a table here. Maybe these might count as a table? If that's the case, then it's not that bad. It's a 1-point demerit, and your character gets a little happy for using it. I don't know why I just saved it. Oh well. Probably because I just achieved the wind strike. That sounds about right. Ooh. Thankfully that doesn't take forever. Actually, can I just spam the spell? Yeah, let's see. Where's repelling? That's Q, capital Q in fact. Oh. No. Well. Oh, look at that. I got a little purple aura for casting clairvoyance. That's cool. Let's spam that spell, so we're super tired. Okay. Go back to reading while we're able to see everything all at once. Makes you kind of wonder if you could read an entire book. Just in one go. Actually, what does this say it does? Oh, see that? That's my aura. Okay, so I get 3 squares around me to see. So this would be a very useful spell to learn. Wonder if this extends how far I can see. Now those spells don't take mana, they take stamina. And they cause a special type of exertion. Not sure if that causes me to get, well, considering how fast I got tired. Probably is the case. Oh well. And exertion's gone, so we go back. And then we just keep doing this. Actually, I don't need Wind Strike now. Yeah, we don't need it right now. Okay. We consume our tea and we top our power off. Okay. Go back. We just cast this again. We're not leveling this up as quick as I was hoping. Oh well. And we're just doing a bit more of that. Hey, level 10, I think. Yeah, nice. Okay, yeah, still 3 squares. I'm hoping for more. So it's level 2 now. It's gonna get level 3, well, by the next casting. Actually, let's cast it one more time. Didn't go further. So, okay. Alright. That is what that is. We will get some... We can make cat food. Huh. How does it take to make that? Oh, I kind of want to make some atomic coffee. Yeah. Hell yeah. We're just going to fill the plastic bottles a little bit. Perfect. I'm not worried about being hungry, so I'm just going to wear the blindfold. I'm going to see if I'm still able to... Hey! Even with the blindfold you can see around. Kind of neat. Have a burning torch. And save the game. So it's interesting. We can actually see with the blindfold on. So there's that clairvoyance spell is a little bit more limited in its usefulness than the spell version I have, the one that takes mana. Another one I got up to level 15 anyways, and it goes a pretty decent distance. When I first got the spell, it was kind of anemic, kind of like this signed version. But it's nice to be able to use something without burning up my mana. Despite having a decent mana pool, all my spells are more expensive because I'm wearing armor. Which is honestly not going to change. I'm going to keep wearing my armor, because that's how you survive in this game. Alright, just a batch of herbal tea, and we'll make 4 of it. 46 minutes? Damn. Oh well. With that, we'll have some hot tea. I'm not even sure if we like cold tea. Maybe. Alright. Go back to repelling arc. We're not learning anything, so we don't need the music player. Well, we are learning something, but I don't think focus matters in this case. Immediately tired after waking up. That's... You know what? Let's, immediately go back to bed. I'd rather not deal with that. We'll cast our... some sort of spell. Anything close to leveling? Perfect. We'll get Shadow Shield going. I'm just going to cast it 3 times like a scrub. Perfect. Alright. Now we leveled it up, and now we go back to bed again. Yeah, if we wake up now, then we're decently... well, just decent. Being tired all the time is... and that's not a fun condition to always have. And I know what that's like. Well, no. I'm very tired in the mornings. I'm considering changing up my sleeping schedule so I get a couple more hours before I start streaming. At least that way my streams are a little bit better quality. I know some people like them, but you know, it's what it is. I'd rather do it right. Oops. Not a master of cooking yet. Alright. And yeah, we're not doing... I'll do the batches of meat. Oops. Said batch. Press B for batch, make a multitude, and there we go. Alright, pound that away. And then we go back to casting spells, which... damn, that's actually pretty high level. I'm curious on clairvoyance. Well, first, I'm going to cast this one anyways. 33 minutes? What? Oh, damn. Let's see what this does. 3 points of strength, that's... I mean, that's nothing to cough at. My encumbrance is 539. Huh. I'll cast a batch of clairvoyance, and then we're gonna go to immediately reading about spells. That's our focus. Now we're feeling the thirst. We'll take an atomic coffee because we do want 31 stimulants. Well, that's pretty nice. +2 speed. Alright. Okay, so now that we read that, we can now speed at the read at the speed of light. Speed at the read of light. Oh, right. Spells. I did want to get this going. Very curious if I could see more further with this instead of just assuming. Oh, that was nice. Alright. Going back to that again. And those stimulants are wearing off pretty slowly. I wonder if you can get a heart attack for having too many stimulants. Oh, that... that'd be a thing. And since we have, our character's a little big, she's gonna wear off the fact that she's a little bit overweight, burn extra calories from her stomach. But the thirst, we can't do much about. So we're gonna have another atomic coffee. Oh. It does everything. Makes you happy. It's very bad for your health. Oh god. I should find out how bad that is. Aside from tanking your health, it's amazing. It even makes you faster. I wonder if that's going to cause sleep deprivation. Alright. So, more clairvoyance. Okay. One more casting should do it, but I don't want to overdo it. That exertion's gone. And yeah, those are long-lasting spells. So if there is one definite benefit of those, it's not even a clairvoyance that just lasts for a little bit. It's around for, geez, a while. And it's still only a range of 3. Not especially a high level right now. It's only level 4, but it's still... Yeah. Okay, so that appears to be what its ability, its skill is. Or what it's about. Protection against Mycus. There's more spells we can get. And this one also increases speed. And since that lasts for half an hour, that's probably one of those things I should be focusing on. Alright. So let's see what the speed difference is. I think I did this before. Oh, 12%? Okay. And it increased my dex too, didn't it? Alright, that's amazing. Yeah, looks like that's the next spell we're mastering. Jesus. That's amazing. You know what? There you go. Have another one. Okay. It lowers the stamina cost too, so there's that. The camp spy dies. I don't see the body. Alright. Let's see if we're stimulated. We are not. Here we go. Have some more stimulants. That way we never sleep again. I'm gonna make more atomic coffee, but I'm gonna let it wear out. That way my character can sleep. Because, I once let it happen like that. I had a character that was drinking, or had a bunch of chocolate-covered coffee beans, but because I had like a few hundred of those, I was just carrying a jar. I didn't actually read it all the way after a while, so I was like, oh, I'm hungry, time to eat this. And after a while, I was wondering why my character was getting tired, or couldn't sleep, but was getting sleep deprived. I'm like, I was underground, so there's no daylight cycle at the time. And, I mean, damn. My sleep deprivation got really high, like 30, 40, 50. I don't even remember the number. It was really high, though. It was tanking my stats. Character was super tired. I'm like, why don't you just sleep? Then I eventually, like, looked at it and I noticed what I was doing to my own character. I was like, oh, whoops. I say this as I'm making... Oh, that's what it is. Coffee syrup. Oh. Okay. That's why there's calories in it. Neat. Alright. I do like this this version of the crafting system. It makes sense. It does the components. Support in a container. Plastic bottle. Plastic bottle. Let's drop the jar. We have a glass jar on a... Yep. Alright. That have some sort of scroll or a book go inside for some reason, so let's not have that. Alright. We're gonna level this up. Yep. And now it lasts for 2 more minutes. We're just casting again because reasons. And go back to repelling Mark. I don't think it improves any further, but the 13% is an insane amount. I'm happy with the 10% I got from my base quirk. Yeah, so let's see if it went up. No, doesn't look like it did. Dexterity? No, I think it was 3, 4, something like that. Okay, yeah. And the stamina cost is... It's okay. It stacks. No way. Oh. Oh, that's not supposed to happen. Oh, that exertion, no. Alright, time for a new test. I'm gonna read for a period of time. We're going to read for 30 minutes? Sure. Okay, the exertion's gone. So we read, we cast agility in ourselves, cast agility in ourselves. Interesting. And it's stacking upwards. Huh. Okay. We're still big, so we don't have to worry about our hunger. So go back to reading the repelling arc. Alright, we're no longer doing the atomic. We'll do that some other time, but we actually want our character to actually start sleeping. Okay, so, and we see the agility is wearing off right here. But since the magical sign thing is wearing out, we cast this a couple more times. We note that our dexterity is something absolutely obnoxious. Huh. This is, exhaustion wears out. We have 41% agility. Okay, I think 48% might be the max. Alright. Yes, it is. Okay, so we didn't quite run into something that's broken. This is really strong still, though. Okay. That was an interesting test. Yeah, my dexterity wore off. That's okay. At the very least, we can cast it a couple times before we go into a fray, and well, be happy that we have a 20-something% boost to speed and a reasonable dexterity bonus. Well, I said reasonable, but it's pretty high. Alright, so we stop there. Drink some more tea. Go back to your repelling arc. Or keep doing this. I remember doing this with Saul Shart. We were studying spells. We were just basically reading books. There was a period of time that it was kind of a mandatory thing. In order to improve your character, really. It's kind of what you have to do sometimes. So, yeah. We just BS during that time. Downside is I don't have any of those videos on VODs or anything. I was gonna upload them to YouTube, but they got corrupted on my hard drive, so kind of why the Smore Chronicles, basically. I don't have the beginning, what, 4, 5 s'mores? Something like that. And then we have on stream 4 of them, and this one is one of them as well. So this one's the 10th s'more, the longest living s'more. And we're finally getting tired, which is a good sign considering, well, the atomic coffee we had. I think it'd be a good idea for us to carry that around, though. Get more coffee grounds so we can make more of that stuff. We could stimulate our character so she doesn't have to worry about sleep. Oh, there it is. Okay, stop. So, save the game. We were sitting here for a while. A few days, actually. It wasn't really that long. That's what it is. We have a few choices, one of which includes going to the impact site. I am thinking about going there, because we can close ourselves off. Technically could use this, although that's also kind of questionable since all the windows. Anyways, I'm gonna go to the impact site. Though something here's they're wildly distracting. Where's the summoned hunter? Okay. I don't think those bash doors. I would assume they do, actually. I took a chance on that. And I went the wrong way. I watched a mini-map to see where I need to go. Oh. I forgot I did that. Okay. This complicates things. I forgot I lit that on fire last time. Which, since that's a thread fire, it probably went... Well, it might not have went up. But it's still like 8,000 degrees of heat from thread. Okay. That's what the reality's made of. Crap. I could drive back to the place I didn't want to drive back to. It's early portal storm. See, the problem is, I use this vehicle, the things that are summoned, like outer planar stuff. Wait, Dementias? What? Oh, are they still alive? Oh, I didn't smash them, so that's how what happens. They get back up. Okay, okay. Yeah, so they'll bash doors down, I would assume. Especially like Migos and whatnot. That happens and I get dragged out into the portal storm. I still haven't tested to see what the hell these things do. I'm just worried about them for good cause because I hear really bad things about them. One of my playthroughs, off stream, I saw a giant tentacle. Fucking thing was basically unkillable. Alright. That's the radio tower. Unusual stone barn. Oh, that's the exit eye. Yeah, I don't even want to deal with that. That's a big nope. And we keep going. Acidic Zombear, huh? Alright. Ravens are a little hard to see with the gray V's. Still early portal storm, so we're doing okay. We're gonna cut across, go back to that same barn we were at last time. That closet did the job for us. We'll drive to the attunement altar. We're fine. I'm gonna stop driving here. I'm gonna grab some tea from around us. So press I, go to here, go to T. Nothing? Alright. Really? Okay, so let's try water. Oh. See, that'll do it. What about tea? Oh, we don't have much floating around, do we? Huh? Alright. Tear gas. I don't know if I want to drink that though. I will have these. Okay, we have more than enough water. We'll grab the rest of the jerky. Close this up and run. Oops. Really craving fire right now. Nope. We're just gonna keep craving. Close ourselves in here, and yeah, good times. We get tired, we rest in here. That's what it is. There we go. New level in agility. Now it lasts for 33 minutes. But we get a 26% boost on our freaking dex. Damn. Or our speed overall. Alright. And now we're going back to learning about repelling arc. Ugh. You feel stretched as a part of you is elsewhere. You're not solid enough to affect matter and your equipment falls through you. Oh. Was this not a roof? Oh man. Okay. Fun. Can I wear my stuff now? Huh. I don't think we ever looked at this character when she had no armor or anything on. Not the umbrella. If you hear a loud tearing sound. Good. Yes. From the south you hear, cover your head, everyone. Oh boy. Okay. Downside is we have to pick everything up that we dropped. Oh boy. Let's just pick it all up. Yeah. Alright. So we picked it all up. That's what we look like, huh? Odd. Okay. Oh, did we put it back on? It tells us which side's on. Interesting. Yeah. Oh boy, it's gonna take a little bit. God, we wore so much stuff. Oh, is that everything? Boots. I feel like we were wearing something over that. Were we not? There we are. It even knows which side it was supposed to be on. From the west I hear a crunch. I would prefer not. Thank you very much. There we go. There's my dodge going to getting tanked. And that's our character again. Oh man, we had so much stupid junk wearing. Alright, let's go back to wearing all of it. Two neckties. Alright. Found a new reason to hate these portal storms. Holy crap. Now, do I need to wear all of this stuff? No. No, I don't. Not at all. Do I want to? Yes. I do need the pair of bow ties and the pair of neckties. Very important. There we go. We're bleeding style. We're gonna go back to reading, because I don't know what else to do. We're just gonna ignore. Oh my god. Are you serious? During a freaking portal storm. Are you serious? You're able to hear this. Okay, well. You suck. Oh my god. I just crushed that and dragged us down there. push this down. That's... Oh my god. Crouch. Okay. Hope. Think. Go back to walking. Grab that. Drag this over here. Grab that. Plug that hole. So now the new point of interest is the literal hole in the wall. Go to crouch. Okay. Grab that, push down there. We're good. Oh. It's Morse code. Huh. You hear the membrane of reality breaking as if someone rhythmically beating a drum. And the beats are arranged in a looping message, inevitably broadcasted in Morse code. Okay. We're just gonna ignore that. Oh, we're hearing a lot of messages. Is our character freaking out over this? No, she's just warm. Craving fire really bad. Alright. We do this. Turn around, we get a bit of water. Actually, atomic coffee. I don't feel like being tired. We're very hot now. Alright, we've mastered... we actually have mastered repelling arc. Interesting. Okay, so... What do we need now? We got that. We need... Yeah. Level 15 mega spells. I believe that is the correct answer. Yeah. So, we can learn... I don't know, Mana Beam? And Haste. Sure. So let's cast Haste on ourselves real quick. What letter is that? Capital H? Sure. Oh, of course. Oh my god, no, that just happened. I casted Phase Door. Okay. That happened. Nope. That was a mistake. Okay. So, from the south, there's that. We're just gonna... Area's full. Okay. Move the stuff there. Damn it. Run in the house. Now we go back to crouching. Okay. We are relatively, hopefully safe. Our character is wildly unhappy. Yeah. Sounds about right. And it's probably because we're craving fire to a massive degree. Alright. Well, let's research the haste spell. And we're just gonna ignore everything that's going on out there. Climate control is kind of important considering our character is wildly overheated right now. What spells do we need? Yeah, I kind of figured that was level 0. That is Storm Shaper spell anyways. Earth Shaper. I already have Biomancy done. Yeah, I guess it's Haste. Haste and Mana Beam we're gonna do. I wasn't aware that we had none of those spells going on. And the Portal Storm's done. Okay. God. Freaking dinosaur decided to come through the wall. Through the portal storm of all things. Huh. I mean, I do have the flaw of smelly. I think that's what it is, smelly. God. Yeah. It's a bit worse than strong scent. You have to mutate into it. So, good times. Alright. Now that we're here, we can run back in there. I kind of feel like that's not a good idea. I might be better served going in there. Actually, let's inspect it. Does it have a roof? It does. So I might be able to just close this off and just stay in here. Yeah, I'll strongly consider it. Okay. Going back to haste, going back to learning this. There we go. Metabolic interchange, turn the climate control off because we're next to an air conditioning unit. Alright. Ooh, how warm is our character? Man, this is a warm day. Okay. The game takes its turns finding out which spot of these two are going to be the warm spot or cool spot. It's weird. There it is. The early levels aren't that bad. And studying a spell to this degree, especially like haste, it's a good temporary spell. So I get a couple agilities in me and a haste, then our like let's cast that real quick. Oh, I see why I did that. Whoops. So this only lasts for 36 seconds, but oh my god. What? Oh. See. Oh. I thought that spell was all about like a 12% or a 20%. This is freaking 250%. That's insane. Okay. Huh. Well, that's kind of useful. Alright. So we kind of combine this with agility. Will basically be like grease lightning. Alright, so we got haste in us. Yeah, just more of this. We need to get, aside from haste... Yeah, we might as well sleep here. Okay. Our focus is decent. Our character, wildly unhappy about having no fire. Shit. I guess we'll just put it in the middle road up here. That's good. There we go, and it gets rid of the negative morale. Go in the car, and we don't need to eat, so we're gonna wear the blindfold. My character's been sleeping on that couch, the car seat, for a while now. I like to imagine it's wildly comfortable. Like it's one of those really nice seats. Oh, let's take it a little bit. Alright. That's what that is. And while we're sleeping, I want to thank everyone for coming on by and checking out the stream. If you like what you see, consider following the channel. And really, if you want to see more stuff like this, I got YouTube channel down below. Links down below, I should say. And it's a shed load more of content just like this. Although it's mostly unedited, so... I'd like to say all of it's unedited, but... Well, there's been some kerfuffles here and there. There we go. We are done sleeping. Alright. So I could kind of see... Oops. I can kind of see where the portal storms are kind of a strong equalizer. Because you turn around and just like, all your gear falls off your character. Well, your character's only as good as your, well, mutations at that point, bionics. Kind of curious if they're going to make it so the bionics fall through your body as well at one point. Oh man, that'd be anti-fun. Holy cow. At that point, I would just cheat my stuff back on. Well, no, you can't even cheat the bionics back on. Ooh. Huh. Hey Zealous, how's it going? We're currently deciding to sit down and research spells. That's what the stream has been so far. But you know how that is. It kind of has to be that unless I do it off stream, which I'd rather do it all on. Anyways, Portal Storm happened. We ran in here, closed it off, and then Dinosaur decided to just roam on in during the Portal Storm and break the wall down. Fun stuff. Had to plug that wall and it kind of worked. Ran into some, all of our clothes fell off our body, which, hot. Also not so much. And I had the epiphany that one day they might make it so instead of all of your items falling off your character, they might make all of your bionics what fall off too, which that would be completely anti-fun. Holy cow, that would suck. And I was like, yeah, well, you know, you can always cheat it back on, and then realization of, oh, you can't. Huh. Good, thanks. Yeah, those spells do take some time. Portal Storms are cool as a feature. I mean, I think they're kind of neat. Hopefully they don't do the whole thing I mentioned. They do seem to be taking steps to, like, find ways to strip everything off your character, pretty much. Which the Portal Storm literally does. The items off of your character anyways. We got to rediscover how much crap I like to wear on my character. 2 bow ties, 2 deck ties. I would make for my the Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous, and the answer is I don't necessarily know, because I don't know how good the NPCs are. I don't want to make a whole party just of the NPCs, because lessons learned of having a whole party of NPCs betray you or some crap like that. That's annoying, but I don't know. Wait, didn't I? Yeah. So I was thinking about making a party of 3 to 4 people if it's a 6-man party. I feel like dying the NPCs are cool. Oh, wonderful. I'm thinking about a 3 to 4 man party of pre-made, you know, my own characters. But then the rest of them are NPCs, because I like the fact if they're well written, fun. You know, it's great. If they're not well written, I can just make a 6-man. I don't want to make a 6-man party. well, a full party of just no NPCs that say anything. It's not what I'm looking for. Yeah. Huh. Most are better, probably better than Kingmaker, apart from one poor guy. Ugh. Yeah. I got to discover how powerful the haste spell is. Haven't used it in combat yet, but I can only imagine it's kind of something stupid. At least for this game. As for the Wrath of the Righteous, I'm considering making the main character a Inquisitor. Now this is going in blind, so could be bad. And if there's not many arcane or divine characters roaming around, oh, hey, how's it going, Basilisk? Some of the NPCs are okay. I like Ember and the Scientist last. Oh, okay, or last, I should say. I'm thinking about making a divine character, so there's a healer, and I'm thinking about making an arcane character as a side as well, just in case there's, you know, a distinctive lack of that. How do? I do. I do pretty decent. How do you do? I'm doing the obligatory grinding part for this game. Finally doing it. Character's thirsty, you might as well pop some herbal. We'll replace the tea with more tea. Oops, didn't mean to make one. Oops, oh. We'll make a batch of 3 next. This tea takes a while to make, but it's nice. It covers many of the vitamins. Alright. So I suppose it would be one problem for people to try to do Wild in the Wild. Doing well, thanks. So you having Portal Storm issues? Kinda. Oh, that's neat. Hey, look at that. Maple tree. Colors. Alright, so yeah, we ran in here to be safe, then a dinosaur decided to Kool-Aid Man through the wall and cause a hole, so we plugged it up and we stayed here like a brave lady. And then we crouched behind it so it doubled down to be just in case they broke this somehow, we'd still be crouching behind it. You know, brave things. So yeah, we're doing alright. I'm not necessarily sure if this vehicle is safe versus out there. I assume not, since I don't have curtains on this thing. I can fix that. Probably should. Those camp spies keep dying. Oh, I see. Climbs to a steady climb before departing. Oh, and it just simply says it dies. Okay. Amber's cool, I agree. Basilisk, no spoilers, but she has a cool story mechanics. Nice. Yeah, it's going to be more or less a blind playthrough, since I haven't even watched any videos about it. I read some reviews, and I trust the fact that other people are saying that's pretty good. I'm more than willing to trust that. I did read some of the reviews in the DLCs, and I've only read bad things. There was nothing good said about, well, virtually nothing good said about those, so shame. Alright, so now we, ever burning torch. Go back to rusting, and there we go. Now, something else I don't, despite DMing Pathfinder, I don't know much about myth ranks. If I'm even saying it correctly. So that's going to be interesting. Otherwise, I know a fair amount about different archetypes and class types and some of the jank that at least the previous game had for Pathfinder Kingmaker, the computer game. Well, console game? I wonder if it's on console. I mean, it's doable. In any case, yeah. Take off the blindfold. I have a character in the tabletop with mythic levels, and they're like shadow levels. Oh, okay. Do they get out of control? Because, I mean, if I'm running a campaign and I'm not suspecting that kind of power creep coming in, like, yeah, I might have to consider that. Not really? Alright. I'll definitely look into that later. I know that'll be a bit much in the campaign I'm running now, because I allowed people... Well, I actually didn't just allow it, I just kind of told them to. They rolled for stats. And, my rolling is very, very generous. You have to do pretty huge things to unlock access to them. Oh. Okay. That's cool. Yay for 18s. Yeah. They, it's not straight 18s, but they got some good stats. The next characters they'll be making in a different campaign will likely be point by system. I'll probably be using on the generous side, but the stats are still going to be far less. Some of them might be rocking some single digits. As of right now, nobody has any single digit stats. I don't think. The gnome might. I don't know. Oh, Bubbles. Oh, that's Animal Companion, bud. If I allowed Bubbles, if I allowed the Animal Companion to have rolled stats, that would just be your main character. It gets like a -4 or 6 to intelligence. Oh no, it has a 2 naturally. So be a -8. You'd make your 18 there, bam, it's a 10. Then you take your 18, put it in strength, and bam, you have like a 40-something strength or something. That'd be outrageous. Single digit number stats are not always bad. Yes, I completely agree. I had a character who had a intelligence of over 20, but a wisdom of like 5. I've never had a character that had a negative to a saving throw. Oh, having a negative to will save is probably the worst one of all, to have a negative in the save. Oh, that was a fun character. So the premise I ran with the character that was essentially a genius was, so obviously he thinks of great ideas, right? He's a genius. He's 20 plus intelligence. The problem is his bad ideas sound good too to him. So every idea sounds like a good idea to him. So he before he had a massive incident and caused his character to get a 5 wisdom, which was part of the start of the character. So this happened before character creation. Therefore, I'm not going to allow it. I wouldn't have allowed it to fix itself, even if the DM said yeah, because it's part of the character. He had an alchemical mistake. Instead of being a normal alchemist, he turned his blood to poison, which rotted his brain, kind of. I mean, he was super smart, but, well, yeah. So one of the things he wrote down before his mind completely corroded from wisdom is like, if you have people around, maybe bounce your ideas off of them. And sometimes you do that. Yeah. It was always fun explaining to people that NPCs that his character was poisonous and venomous. Don't touch him. And technically, the ability allowed you to not poison people, but at the beginning of the game, for a while there, anyone that touched him would get possibly poisoned in a very bad way. Eventually, he learned how to control it because it's his ability. But yeah, I kind of thought that was cool. It was a toxicant, something like that. Something alchemist related, so it's probably a toxicant. And I could have even made it stronger by making it a vivisectionist, but I didn't want to take away from the rogue in the party, because let's be honest, the toxicant was just a better rogue. So once I noticed someone was being a rogue, I'm like, nope. You know, about turn, and made myself a proper bomber, which, not my playstyle, but it was still kind of fun. Zealot says, "Oh yeah, I just mean how strong only the ape has single digits, and yeah, it'd be weird to have with more intelligence, anyways. I mean, eventually, there's a possibility." So, for the Wrath of the Righteous, I was thinking Inquisitor of the Slayer type. That sounds very strong in my head. And as for the Divine character, it was going to be anything with an animal companion. Because the more animal companions you have on the field, the more you can flood it, the better. And then arcane character that does something similar, or I ignore the fact it could be an arcane character and just make it a bard. Or Scald. Whichever. I actually kind of like Scald's better. The rage mechanic is a bit rough, but when you have like a whole field of animal companions running around, all of them enraged, things blow up very fast. Of course, I kind of remember the finale. This is kind of spoilers for some of you. If no one's played the Kingmaker, which it's kind of an older game at this point, but the final parts of Kingmaker, I mean, it kind of becomes obvious after a while, but you fight Fae, which these Fae are, for God's sake, they are broken. Their stats are not even accurate. But yeah, that game did not like. That was not polite. Freaking stupidly high saves to not run away in the middle of combat from just looking at something. Ugh, those Fae are so bad. Well, they don't do great against a whole flock of animal companions that are immune to mind control. It was kind of fun. The first time I played through that game, I made a more or less normal party. That was my bad. I shouldn't have treated the game like that. It was not nice to me, that's for sure. Alright, so craving fire badly. Let's go. Let's see if that fire's still going. It's not. Wait. Okay. There we go. Light another fire. Now we're happy again. Now, let's see the different ways to make this tea. 20 or 13 minutes per each one, or 13 minutes. See, this one I understand taking longer, because these are literally just wild herbs I picked. Which I've learned that that's not really tea, it's more like a tonic or something. I'm still sad about that. I have written up for my Pathfinder game I'm GMing is I did write up the list of items that you guys would get for your mission that you already know what's going on, but your mission givers don't. Alright, let's drop off these bottles. There we go. Don't want to be carrying those around. I'll make a couple, another atomic coffee. Oh, that was just one batch of it, isn't it? Oh well. At least we could top off the one we have. Perfect. Okay. We go back to reading. Level 13 at haste. I have recently learned how stupidly strong haste is. I thought that haste was only like, hey, here you go, 25% boost on your speed, which is nice, right? No. For those of you who don't know, it's 250%. That's stupid. I don't know what to say to that. Because I learned that you can stack the haste seal or the agility seal for like 48%. And it also stacks on like a 12 extra dex just for the hell of it. It was a nice happy meal right there. And it lasts for like half an hour, so can't argue with that. Actually, I want to combine the two. I want to see what happens. So let's stop here. We're gonna eat some herbal tea, and we're gonna cast agility, and agility, and then we're gonna get our breath back. And I'm gonna see what my phone's saying to me. Yeah. Potential spam. That's good. Alright, so we got 47% haste, or speed from agility, and a reasonable 38 dexterity. You know, nothing too bad. If we were to drop our bags, our dodge would turn to 25. Okay. Now, let's cast haste, which is capital H, I believe. And our speed is... Our current speed is 437. Oh no, that's so stupidly fast. Oh man. Okay. I need a... I don't know. What? That's so fast. Okay, so we'll just so we can find out what our base speed, our current speed goes to when we are done reading. We're at 437 now. I didn't even figure out what it was beforehand. I just know this was a stupid number. Now we're dead tired. Okay, so I think the spell's worn off. No, it hasn't. Damn. Okay. Well, we're dead tired, so we're just going to extinguish this and wear a blindfold. We're going to go back to resting, because that's what we do. We're starting to get cold a little bit. So we'll switch to this side. Rest. Yes. Oh my god. That amount of speed, though. Alright, so what was it, 437 or something like that? And the agility lasts for about a little bit past half an hour, because we keep leveling it up. So all we need to do is exert ourselves to some crazy degree, and we can move really, really fast with a massive dex bonus. Okay, so we're done there. Light the torch. Our current speed is 110. It was 437. It's almost 4 times as fast. That's amazing. Oh, okay. That was fun. So, let's see what level we were with that. We were level 4. It lasted a little bit past half an hour for that spell. The more we learn this spell, the less the stamina it uses, I believe. and the longer it lasts. I don't think it improves any further on how much more we get from it, though. So, you know, good stuff. On the other hand, haste, I don't think improves the speed any further, which I don't think it needs to. But it does improve the amount of time it lasts. And it's a small increment. It didn't seem like much. It's like when we were doing it a little while ago, it was like a 30-40 seconds. Now it should be a little bit past after a minute. And with 250% speed boost from that alone, which stacks with everything else, yeah, multiplies with each other, I believe. Sort of. It's taking its time for the studying here. I'm wondering if there's a lot of creatures nearby. Some of these things go way faster when you're farther away from living entities. One more spell. One more level. Actually, how long does it last right now? Doesn't say. And haste. 1 minute and 30 seconds, so that's pretty good. That's a very long time for a spell that just does that. So there's one other spell I forgot to cast. In between all of that, I forgot I had another one. I need to cast Wind Running. So, actually, let's take that moment. Agility, 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 agility. Catch our breath. So 47%, fair enough. Then we cast Wind Running. Then we cast Haste. Capital H. 5. Oh no. Oh my god. 459. So I forgot Wind Running. Alright. And how long does Wind Running last? About a minute something? Yeah. I still won't test it against turrets. They'll just auto-shit. Oh, auto-shit me? Pretty much. Auto-shoot. Like, yeah. Just destroy me. Yep, and what we're doing here is we're just, we're getting our spells to level 15. We have one more to do past this spell. It takes a while for level 15 to kick in. We got, what, Mana Beam, I believe? That's the next spell we're going to learn. That's going to be fun. I'm going to get away from here. I wonder if I'm going to be able to study my stuff a little faster if I'm away from this spot. Because if another portal storm breaks out, I can always move away from this spot. And yeah, it looks like we finally hit, yeah, we're day 3 in autumn. Honestly, I'm thankful that it finally moved to a new season for us. We've been stuck in either summer or spring for a while. So it's kind of nice. Plus you get to see different colors. Alright. Go back to the spell, go back to researching. Gum spiders. Alright, you guys are dead. Thank you. Just gonna kill everything that distracts us. And you see the time clicking by real fast. Should've did this earlier. Okay. Just finding out the cool spot and then going in it. This is so much better. Okay. Sometimes you don't get an option of where to go, though. So, you kind of stuck. Well, what about mana beam? Level 1, so I already did that. Okay, fair enough. Good news is I can spam the spell. So which letter is mana beam? Capital J. Wonderful. I don't have enough mana? Jeez. Alright, so it says it costs 340 mana for now. Let's see if we can take off our gauntlets. How much mana beam is now. Alright, so there's a component of hand encumbrance that's actually messing with our spell casting. Alright. Okay. Let's figure this out. Let's get some gloves. One more. One more. You do it. We need something with low encumbrance. That's pretty low, but I also want protection. I should have been a bit more specific. Armored fingerless, which virtually no encumbrance. Although it doesn't protect as much as I'd care for. Huh. So, is there a light survivor gloves? Yeah, these are... That'd be a bit much. Also, it'd probably light on fire somehow. Because, you know, fire resistant means it's going to be on fire. Extra... Really? Sure. There we go. And it needs a pair of gloves beforehand. Which it takes 20 hours and 5 minutes? What? Although the protections are pretty limited. Oh, okay, I see where I'm going wrong with this. Well, not every light... Not every light item is good. Because, yeah, the protection here is immense. It's still 10 encumbrance, though. I don't know. Well, we took off the gloves. Let's see if there's something around to wear as a replacement. We might have actually put something around. Of course, the thunder gloves, which that's just laying around. Just going through that real quick. I mean, how many things shoot me in the hands? I'll consider it. I gotta remember, some of these things will stack extra encumbrance thanks to the rings I'm wearing. Really? Titanium rings, not fancy? Alright. Alright. I get it. Oh, I think I remember. I wasn't wearing rings because it causes extra hand encumbrance. Right. Okay. Well, that doesn't necessarily help, so let's find out what's in these squares. Nothing much. So I guess the reason I wore this is... I mean, I don't care about the lightning. Mildly warm, decent protections. Also didn't dent when I was punching things. Okay, so my hand encumbrance is 11, so let's see what Mana Beam says now. 260 compared to... Damn, that's actually a pretty reasonable difference. Okay. Alright. See if there's anything to protect or fix. Not necessarily. Arc welder, do the same. Nope. Okay. Shame we can't fix the burnt aspect of our armor. Is our tailor kit? Can we? Really? Oh. Okay. Heh. Bow ties are sophisticated. Don't touch that stuff. Yeah, I kind of figured that was doable. I mean, I'm wearing it. I might as well fix up my wallets. Oh, jeez. Okay, take your time. And no change. Oh, wow. Stylish wallet's hard to reinforce. Oh, well, it has more thread than wallet. Huh. Okay, that should take care of it. Our character is warmish. Alright, let's go back to reading about Mana Beam. Yeah, I kind of figured that was going to take no time. Unlike where it was before, the timer is ticking off pretty quickly. Yep, we're getting there. We are almost done. Alright, let's make some more tea. Make it like a batch of 8, sure. I don't care if you're exhausted. Make that tea. Alright, now we go to bed. Extinguish and wear blindfold. Go to bed. Perfect. Being dead tired actually caused us to lose a little bit of intelligence for a moment there. The debuff thing. Almost every day, I log into my game called Don't Starve Together, just so I can get that cosmetic item. I really do enjoy that game. I should go back to that sometime. Anyone else enjoy that game? Or even know what I'm talking about? That game's... I don't know, It's good. We'll do some fried meat. We'll do like a nice batch of them. Oh, heh, heh. Alright, let's try that again. Keep forgetting to press batch. There we go. We stop wielding that and start eating it. Yeah, I'm just pounding that away. My favorite character in that game is Wickford. I really enjoy her. Although I haven't tried some of the newer characters almost at all. And I know there's they're redoing some of the characters so they're more enjoyable, possibly more balanced. Like my wife and I enjoyed playing the Spider Weber. That's a fun character too. But once it gets to later seasons, then you get to watch all of your basically all of your little web friends just get wrecked. But until then, it's pretty nice. Yeah, I'm just pounding that away now. Go back to reading. Oh, not haste. Actually, I could drop haste off now. Alright. Actually, I'll drop off Jolt as well. Alright. Mana Beam? Yep. I don't know if this widens the beam, but I know it probably makes it longer. And yeah, we stopped. It really didn't take that long, was it? 3? Actually, how long have we been doing this? About a week. So that's 2 portal storms in a week almost. I'm just driving blind at this point, but I don't really care. How much water we have? We got enough. Got enough food as well. That fire's still going. So, we're gonna try this for once. We'll try in here. It doesn't say something is in here. And if they destroy this vehicle, then we can run to the house again. Not that that's the greatest option in the world. Oh. We'll just eat the dog food. Does that make our character unhappy? It doesn't. Huh. Okay. Well. We go back to Mana Beam, learning about that. And we just ignore that. All the sounds that are going on. Jeez. We'll just have a nice atomic drink at this point. Not feeling like I should go to sleep anytime soon. Bird, come on, wake up! God, all that screaming. At least the time's going away quick for some reason. Actually, I don't know why. We'll have another atomic coffee and have the jitters of the lifetime. Oh. I hope everyone's having a good old time. If you like what you're seeing today, well, consider following the channel. If you really like what you see, consider subscribing. I know it's a slower day, so, you know, bit much to expect any of that, but it's worth mentioning. It's the only way to progress and stuff sometimes. And also, I guess it's worth mentioning that for those of you who like this content, I do have a YouTube channel, and you know, a bit more of this content just laying on there. Quite a few hours of it, actually. Also have a Discord, so if you just want to like hang around and chat sometime, I do, you know, look on over and see what's going on over there, and yeah. If anyone has any questions about the game or need any help, I am around. And the portal storm's done, so this thing did the job. Can I pull this? No. I was curious. So that thing is pretty secure. In fact, I'm just gonna stay here. Let's make more tea. So in this vehicle, it takes a while to do it. Weird. You know what? I'll drive away from here. I think this is probably a good spot. Stop driving. Go here and go back to making tea. There we go. Hey, that's fast. Pour into containers. Done. Now, we're going to be getting pretty tired pretty soon. During this time, let's cook some meat. Actually, salted meat slices. So, these require bags to make. We got a lot of bags. Let's just do this. What is it, 4 hours? Yeah, let's do it. You know, the charge is complete. Interesting. It's going to take a while to do this, but it's basically a huge amount of preserved meat. Oh, that's what it was saying. Vacuum sealers. Uh-oh. Okay. So. Matt. Okay, so the battery gets charged when it's I see what's going on. That's unfortunate. I was hoping this thing would charge it while it's on there. Huh. Okay, we'll read for a little while. I think it should get charged in a short time. Okay. Exactly. Perfect. So we reload the vacuum sealer. There it is. Go back to making this. That's what happened. Interesting. I'm going to ignore you for now. Okay, so yeah, the vacuum sealed meat is on the floor instead of on the wherever. Alright. Basically, it's well-preserved meat. More of that stuff on the pavement. Okay, it's the bags too. I was just making sure. Okay. We can make more. How? Wait, we got like 50 more vacuum pack bags? I have no idea where that's from. Okay. We'll just pound away some herbal tea. Turn off our torch. Where are the blindfold? Actually, we're not. Yeah, no. We'll wear the blindfold. We're done for now. Oh. I thought I lost it. So I'm basically making my own meat chips. Jerky, maybe? It's salted meat slices anyways. This is eventually going to be done, and I'm going to be so pleased. And that's the moment my character dies. After getting all of this. Alright. Take off the blindfold. Camp Spice, chilling around, that's fine. Character's hungers? Well, we're still big, so it doesn't matter. Turn on the torch, and read. More about mana beams. Ooh, very hot. Really? What's going on? I don't... Never understand what that's going on. What's going on with that? Oop, very thirsty. I was not paying attention to that. And I don't want to eat the chili powder. What am I carrying? Yeah. We started putting stuff in our bottles, so there's that. We're going to unload my other wallet, and we're going to drop that stylish wallet somewhere. It takes forever to fix those. The only reason I'm carrying these is they're considered fancy. Might get more fancy from it. Not quite. Although we do need to start a fire. Thankfully our character doesn't just go crazy and light fires on her own. It could be an intelligence thing. It does say she thinks about it, but it considers against it. Alright. Thirsty, big, blah blah blah. Okay, go back to reading. Nice. So what I plan on doing is I plan on moving out of this area soon. The only reason I'm sticking around is because of the attunement altar, and I just kind of want to get that out of the way for once. I've been talking about that for 20 streams at this point. So we're finally committing. We're getting it done. These are not even spells that I was going to actually do anything with. Haste, yes. I'm finding out how amazing that spell is. Holy crap. But otherwise, some of these are spells I never really would have used, but now I'm actually kind of happy we did, or are thinking about it anyways. I get like Wind Strike. I didn't see anyone get knocked down, but I think they were slowed to a pretty measurable degree. So that's pretty nice. We're gonna make some more tea. Alright, that gum spider's gotta go. Nope. Wait, it's bothering my hands. I'm wearing leather gloves, aren't I? %60 coverage? Oh. Okay. That's not that protective then. Okay. Anyways. Let's go back to reading. You're painfully close. So, if you guys had to make a new character for Pathfinder, what would you make? Like a class, race, the identity that you're thinking about working with. There's a lot of factors that go in. Like for me, I had a character concept, but it almost doesn't matter what class it is, which is, to me, it's a little different for the starting the making a character. I think of an idea, how I'm going to roleplay it, but at that point, it almost doesn't matter what class it is sometimes. But this time, the character concept, the mechanical part, is, you know, that it's almost aside from the roleplay. I was considering from the mechanical aspect, and it didn't matter what class it was almost. I was thinking about getting there's a feat that's called Fast Healer. It's kind of a meme build. Kind of crap, really. But I was going to try to make it work. It requires Die Hard, which is it's arguably a useful ability. There's better feats. And Endurance, which is sometimes never used in some people's campaigns. In mine, it's occasionally mentioned, but the party doesn't ever really push themselves that hard. It's basically they would rather deal with their problem or die instead of run away from it. Which they have run away from some of it, but at that point they just teleport away and then they get the rest because not everything's made of detection lenses and can find the party immediately. So I don't know, it's just kind of how I run. Oh, we're warm. What's going on here? Is this thing dead? Huh. Why are we so warm? Damn, this is a warm spring. Oh well. But yeah, with the Fast Healer feat, what it does is it allows you to, from magical healing, or from natural healing, you heal up to an additional amount equal to half of your Constitution modifier. Hopefully a bonus. So if you have like a 18 con, that'd be a +4 from that, so the healing would be +2. I think that's pretty cool. It's also really minor. But there was some other things I was going to tack onto that build that will allow me to self-heal, and then I was going to make a real tough character. Not even a proper tank, possibly, although it would obviously make a good tank. But it was just something I was considering. I kind of like that idea. So the concept is the feat trained I was going with. Like, it takes about 4 feats to get that whole thing going. Because there's one feat that I was going to go for that every time I do fire damage, I believe it's an orcish feat, I can heal 1. Well, if I heal 1, then from Fast Healer, I can heal whatever half my con modifier is. So instead of 1, it's 3 or 4. Or, you know, whatever. If I can get up to +5, that'd be amazing, but that also means my con is 30. Which, damn. And it can only heal once per round, but it's still an interesting way of healing one's character. Now, if I get an ability called Fast Healer, or Fast Healing, it's like regeneration, then that will also, instead of heal 1 or 2, or whatever the number says, it'll also add half of my con score. Now, that's arguable versus different DMs if that's actually doable. I'd say it is, because it says Fast Healing is natural healing. It's equated to it. So fast healer should work, I feel. So you mix that, and then you have like other abilities, like let's say I actually make it a cleric. Well, now if I use the God, what's that ability? Channeling. If I use channeling, I heal, you know, everyone like 13. I will heal 13 plus my half con bonus. Like, all of those things stacked together to make my character a little bit more tanky, but I just kind of like that concept. So if I could manage to get my hands on something semi-permanent to give my, or even permanent, give myself fast healing, and then I do fire damage roughly every round to people, I'm healing like 10, 12 hit points per round. That's pretty beefy. It's still killable. It's not, definitely not untouchable, but damn, that's pretty cool. And it can work with most builds. In fact, I was thinking of a build, one of the party members, players, wants to make a character, and this is why it's great, it's flexible. They were thinking about making a Phoenix Sorcerer. And that's one of my first ideas. I was like, oh, I could make a Phoenix Sorcerer out of this. So I can heal people with my fire spells. And then I can hurt people and heal myself. It's kind of cool. Well, I don't have to do that. I don't have to make it a Phoenix Sorcerer. So, I don't know. It's pretty neat. Oh, it's level 15. Celebration time. Whee! Alright. We did it. Alright, so let's listen to some music. Turn that thing on. Play music. Get going. I'm not used to seeing the grass like that. Jeez. Alright, so we have a decent ways to drive. I don't want to go near the impact site. You know, I'm just gonna follow the road and walk from there. That's fine. There's not many things I'm truly worried about in the woods at this point. The woods are relatively safe. Up until you run into an owlbear or a moose that looked at you the wrong way, or vice versa. Then suddenly they're stupidly dangerous, and now you have to deal with problems. I could make a tank-like character. One that doesn't actually have spells. I don't... I generally have characters that cast spells. I generally just enjoy it. Gotta love Rogue Moose, no kidding. We got plenty of stuff and things, we got food. This one has less than 1 week. That means we need to eat this one then. So we're gonna start going through our jerky. How's our character craving fire? Craves fire very much. Let's put the thread down. There we go. Hopefully it doesn't start a forest fire. I mean, the character will enjoy it. I, on the other hand, will have to figure out how to get through that. Ooh, glass jar. I thought about jarring meats. Actually, rising cream jar. Maybe I don't have the right book. Oh, I don't have any of the books on me right now. Herp derp. Now we're still doing this right now. And you can see our focus slowly lowering because we're doing this. It's mostly because we're learning. And that's also why I keep the music going. It's a very strong passive boost. Hey, I wonder if there's anyone that truly does not enjoy music. Because obviously every character in this game more or less likes music, and it almost doesn't matter what genre. I'm curious if there's like actual people that just hate music. I can get being ambivalent towards it, just not caring. There's that, but like actual distaste. Maybe somebody that is very sensitive to sound. Nice for a tank to be able to self-buff. War Priest, I feel like that would break the game. That's why I didn't even mention it. But yeah, that would be really good. Because the War Priest is able to heal themselves as a swift action as well. It's so strong. You add that with the fast... Oh, I've been here. Oh, you add that with the fast healing ability and just suddenly, like, things get borked. So what I did here, folks, is I just bashed some... this is supposed to be a big old hedge maze. I just bashed the bushes down. I forgot which one I wanted. A Force Mage? Is that it? I think it's Force Mage and... I do note that my character's really warm, so turn on that air conditioning. Hey Zealous, was I picking Force Mage? Picking attunement to show the world your worth. So, this is one of those things where I wouldn't blame you for saving the game beforehand, which... Let's save the game beforehand. And, picking the ones, and, picking different ones and finding out what they do. Because... you're stuck with this, whichever one you pick. You can get two different ones, but they do different things. I'm thinking Force Mage. Kind of why I picked Magus in the first place, I think. And my music just died, didn't it?